So I wasn't really going to talk about the whole Gamergate 2.0 stuff and the Sweet Baby thing because I've got a full, production video being made right now. It should be out in the next couple of days. And unfortunately, that's going to be outdated because when I made it, obviously within a week of me writing it, it has to be edited and there's not a lot of room for error for, adding stuff in because then that needs to be edited. And when do you stop? Because it's obviously always going to be out of date in a constant shifting landscape and narrative. But I wanted that video to basically serve as, if you don't know anything about Gamergate, if you don't know anything about Sweet Baby Inc., which is all over the internet right now, you can watch this video and you're going to get most of the facts plus how I feel about it and where I think both sides are and where there's kind of like a miscommunication and an idea being co-opted and where the real issues lie, what most people, in the middle care about, as opposed to extremes on either side. But I'm going to now talk about it because there's a Wired article here that popped up on my feed and I was like, whatever, we'll read this because it seems from like the first, the tagline here, it's probably going to be a bit of a fucking spicy one. The small company at the center of Gamergate 2.0, Montreal-based Sweet Baby Inc. employs just 16 people. They now find themselves the targets of gaming's latest harassment campaign. So it's an interesting way to frame it because while I don't doubt there is some harassment, because realistically, you could have a YouTube channel where you talk about, which paint is best to put on your wall. I'm going to try out 5 different paints now and tell you which one I like best. Somebody's probably going to harass you because that's what people do on the internet. They're mentally unwell. They're unhinged. They have problems. It doesn't reflect badly on you. What you've got to do is just ignore or laugh at them. Maybe, suggest that they speak to somebody about their issues. So basically, I understand there's going to be some harassment, but labeling what actually happened as, they're now the target of gaming's latest harassment campaign, as if this is a thing that always happens. This is part of the problem and why Gamergate happened, why Gamergate 2.0 is happening, and why this will continue as a narrative. It's because journalists, for whatever reason, want to make mostly white straight men feel bad even if they've done nothing wrong, and it's like a concerted joined effort from most of AAA gaming and most of the industry of coverage journalism in the space that just want to paint this narrative and make it as if their side, because they're all sticking together, never does anything wrong. They're all fine, they're all doing good things, and then for no reason at all, these angry fucking incel gamers, usually the white male gamers, have just come out of nowhere and just started throwing shit at the walls and at everybody and just screaming and saying they're going to hurt people. And that's not what happened. And again, I'm sure some people are doing things like that, but the majority of people are simply seeing exactly what happened last time happen again in real time, unfolding in real time, and they're saying, fuck you. No, even if I don't agree with all the points on this side, I'm with them mostly because I'm against you. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And a lot of people are repeating some fairly uninformed things. A lot of people are focusing on a singular tree when there's a fucking forest behind it. And a lot of it's also been co-opted by, obviously, I think people on, the far, I'm going to say far left, because that's typically where this stuff comes from, and people on the far right are equally disagreeable and deplorable people. And some of the narrative coming through is that if you're against Sweet Baby and things like this, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, and things like that, which I don't think's true. I think that the issue is most people don't have a problem with diversity in games. They have a problem with being told if they don't like when a character that already existed changed, they are these bad things. They don't like being told you're those bad things if you don't want a company that hires a bunch of people that are racist inversely against white people and hate white men and hate straight people. Those people being in charge of narratives of games and being forced upon you, you don't like that, and therefore you're a bad person. I think most people typically are fine with diversity. I think most people are fine typically with inclusion. I think the vast majority of people are not saying a black character, a gay character, whatever it's going to be, whatever, minority represented person is in something, makes it bad or only for the sake of diversity, I think that's getting lost in the weeds. While there are people like that, and you'll see them on social media and most people laugh at them and don't agree with them, most people fall into the middle, which is, we just don't like what you're doing. I think most people are fine with that stuff. Yeah, I'll just get into the thing, because if not, I'm going to talk about this all day without actually reading the article. So the accusations began around the release of Spider-Man 2 last October. More came when Alan Wake 2 hit a week later. They were all over the replies to the social media accounts of Sweet Baby Inc., hateful comments, many of which hinged on the idea that Montreal-based narrative development and consulting company was responsible for the wokeification of video games, recalls Kim Belair, the company's CEO. Now, I didn't see this. I didn't see anything about Alan Wake whatsoever. I didn't even see Sweet Baby Inc. appear as a thing. I saw nobody discussing this, and my job is to sit and read social media most of the day, basically, and I'm all over the gaming YouTube and all over gaming Twitter and things like that and Reddits. I didn't see this. I saw some people complaining about Spider-Man 2. One, because of Spanish translation using incorrect language, which I know nothing about because I'm not Spanish, so I never weighed in on it. It's fuck all to do with me. I didn't play the game, I didn't make the game, and I'm not Spanish, so I have no opinion on it. And then because there was flags and gay characters in it, which upset some people, but there's trans people in real life and gay people in real life. So when you've got a video game based in New York or any modern city, there's going to be gay and black people and trans people. It exists in the real world. So if you get upset about that, I think you probably have an issue. And it's not about diversity being forced into your game. When a game is set in an area and then the area is has the people and things and whatever else that are native to that area that really are there, I don't think you get to really complain about that, because that's just normal. Obviously, some people's complaint is they don't want it in their video games because they don't want politics in their video games. But I think it's more just you don't want the stuff you disagree with in video games, which is fine. Just don't buy the video game. It's, always where I'm going to fall on that one. In the months following, the noise only increased. You made this character black, or you added these gay characters, or you ruined the story. Belair says of the comments, the tone of which she adds never changed. Neither of the demands of these people behind them, quote, "It's usually leave the industry," Belair said, or admit there's truth to wild conspiracy theories about being involved with investment company BlackRock, Sweet Babies Not, or more succinctly, die. Now, obviously, there's no evidence here. Again, I'm sure there is harassment and people saying these things, but I have an issue when you make a claim of something and then you don't show any evidence, because anybody can say anything. Just again, I didn't really see anything about Alan Wake 2. Maybe there was, a handful of people. But if we judge what a narrative is and say it's gamers, it's this huge group of people based on what a few unhinged people do, we can do that for everything. And I'm sure we're going to, be worse off for doing it. I think it's just disingenuous and definitely a shitty way to frame things. And specifically why a lot of people in this, back and forth of we're now tribalistic, us versus them, Gamergate 2.0 bullshit, we'll just vehemently disagree with everything any people say on the other side because of framing something like this. And when journalists all come together and there's 15 fucking major publications posting the same story, the same narrative, interviewing the same people, ignoring what they've done and saying all the other people are bad, you're the issue. You're what is causing this, and you're making me have to sit and read this fucking just absolute shite all the time from both sides. It's old, it's played out. This is a boring narrative now. I do think if anyone says you ruined a story by including, as this example gives you, black or gay characters, if you didn't know what the story was before they made it, A, how do you know when or where they put these characters in? B, how do you know that wasn't the plan from the beginning and that was always in the story and therefore can't have been ruined? And C, do you sincerely, as a human, believe that a story is ruined just because there's someone who is black or gay in it? Because if you do, the problem isn't diversity in games, and the problem is that you have a problem with these people. And again, I don't think most people feel that way. I think most people are perfectly accepting of that. And obviously we can see, and I make this point in the bigger video that I'm currently making, most people are fine with diversity because we can see the explosion in foreign language film and foreign language media in general, and games coming from Japan where you're playing Japanese people, the explosion of Squid Game, you know, all these things that people enjoy that are a diverse cast of people that aren't white men, that all these things paint it to be like, you know, the majority represented demographic for things like this. So I don't think that's an issue. But I do think there are some people who literally, if they see a black character in anything, or a gay character, or a trans flag, or whatever it's going to be, they just start frothing. And unfortunately, when you have this us versus them, and everyone really dislikes the journalists and the people on this side, they're going to get lumped in with this side, and it makes it look like they feel the same way. Where, I don't think that's the case for most people, but that's maybe I'm wrong, and I'm going to get a bunch of backlash from both sides on this one. But I think that's the more rational, you know, adult thing that at least I hope most people feel. So online, those clamoring for Sweet Baby's demise are calling it Gamergate 2.0. It fucking is Gamergate 2.0. Whoever wants to call it something else can do, but this is exactly what Gamergate 1.0 was. So this is the match has been lit. It's been thrown on the bonfire, and now it's burning. And guess what? The journalists are making it worse, as they did last time. Invoking the online harassment campaign that erupted into a culture war a decade ago, Gamergate formalized the playbook for online harassment used by hate groups and the far right. He inspired figures who would later tap into that outrage and rise all the way to positions of power, such as chief strategist in the White House. The two movements do share a handful of similarities: harassment campaigns flooded with falsehoods and accusations bordering on conspiracy. Attacks aimed primarily at women and people of color, the idea that video game culture for cis white men is being stolen from them. This is what this article is going to be then, I guess. This is just another one of those pieces where it's all these people bad, and they're all doing the bad things, and this is the narrative, and nobody did anything on the side. Nobody started anything. There wasn't any issues. Nobody said anything. Nothing's been discovered. This is the fucking broader issue, isn't it? The people that are writing about games and games journalism in general has not served the people who play games or want to learn about games or want to be informed on what's going on for over a decade. This has just been true. And it's why legacy media, like print journalism, has basically, it's dying, because people trust content creators more because they're speaking to them. Maybe there's a bubble problem. Maybe there's a bias problem where you get into a situation where you're basically only consuming the opinions and the things that you don't even know that are true, because there's no journalistic ethics with content creators generally. But I don't see any journalistic ethics in stuff like this, because the reason that this started, if people aren't aware, which I'm sure most of you are, is the very crux of it is a Brazilian guy made a Steam group, a Steam curator group, in which he found which games had Sweet Baby Inc. involved, and he posted a negative review saying Sweet Baby Inc. involved, link to proof. That was it. And somebody that works for Sweet Baby found this and then directed his audience on social media to go specifically to this person's Twitter, linked his Twitter specifically, which this guy never did. As far as I'm aware, there's no evidence I've seen that he was harassing anyone or linking people to specific individuals' social media accounts or any call of action in general. And this employee instructed his audience to go and report the fuck out of this person, to specifically get the curator group taken down, to specifically get the Steam account taken down, as in getting his Steam account banned. And he literally said it as if this was like a vindictive, hateful method. He was like, he clearly loves his Steam account, essentially being like, oh, let's take away what he loves. Just doing things that clearly is harassing, clearly is wrong. And if somebody was doing that to you, you'd call that harassment. But they ignore all that. And then obviously this galvanized people, and this made it a broader topic, and it got picked up by other content creators, and it started going really massive. And then there was tweets from people like the fucking senior editor at Kotaku saying, you can't be racist to white people, which is, I don't know, bro. If you want to pick up a dictionary, you probably should, if you're a senior editor of one of the largest gaming publications in the West, and read what the term racism means, because just because you're a senior editor doesn't mean you get to redefine words. You don't have that power. You might want that power, but you don't fucking have it. So presenting a story as if it's just all one group, we've done nothing wrong, and it's just cis white men having gaming stolen from them. I don't think the majority of people feel that way. I really don't. Maybe you think it is in your bubble, but if it is, maybe you should speak to people other than, the people around you and writing lazy fucking us versus them narratives, because this is the problem with the culture war. It's two groups of people shouting past each other with nobody talking on anything, because nobody can agree, nobody can disagree reasonably. They just want to be on their right team. And it's lazy. And honestly, it's one of the worst things about modern political discourse. And whether you like it or not, this does always go political. There is obviously an aspect of like far right and far left, like I said, in these narratives. It's just how it is, which is why I find it kind of boring. Because if you followed Gamergate 1, if you followed politics online, you've seen the shit play out. And this is just how it's going to go forever. Everyone's just boring. People want to believe that our work is surgically removing the things that they would have liked. Change this line, make this line less racist, she says. That's just not the reality of it. I don't even think, and maybe this is, something people aren't going to agree with. It is what it is. I don't even think Sweet Baby Ink's a problem. And if you do, you're probably focusing on a tree and not the forest. Sweet Baby Ink is a consultant company. They're not making games. So I've been a consultant. I'm sure some of you guys have as well. The way consulting on anything works is somebody has to choose to hire you, which means they're making the decision to bring in a diversity-focused writing company. Then when you come in, they still have to tell you what are you going to do, what level of involvement are you going to have. They have to okay what you're doing. It then has to be okay to go into the game. These people are not the issue. Like, if you have a problem, direct your issues at the main problem. If you have an issue with what this company's doing, it's not the company's fault, and because even if they didn't exist, the people making the decision to bring them in still would, and they just hire people or use a different company. So I think it's completely misplaced ire, or whatever word we're going to use, for Sweet Baby specifically. It's just obviously this is the catalyst. I just don't know why people focus on this so vehemently when it seems like it is what it is. Are there games that have stuff in it that I don't like? Yeah, I just choose not to buy it. I choose not to support it. Is it anything about like, oh man, there's a gay character in here, there's a black character? I don't give a fuck. Like, I literally couldn't care less. The more diverse, the better, because I think one thing that is true with most people that you'll learn is when you travel the world, your horizons are broader, your perspective on things are broader. You understand things differently than if you stay in your own bubble. And I think obviously having perspectives of other people, diverse groups of people, is good. I think that helps you in your understanding and perspective of the world. But at the same time, what I don't want is boxes to be ticked for people to be used as essentially props and two-dimensional assets to put into a game where their plight and their story and their culture and their, whatever it's going to be, whatever word we're going to use, is not respected and is not there, for people to understand and empathize with, or whatever it's going to be, because I think that does a disservice to those people. And obviously when you have games that, this is the issue, right? If you're going to put like pride flags or whatever in Spider-Man 2, and then you're going to remove them in a different region to sell the game there, you aren't doing that as a, good faith, we support this thing. You're doing that to pander to a certain group of people and then pander to another one. And that makes me think that what you're doing is not about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think what you're doing is you are using those people, and I don't like that. I think that makes a mockery of what you're actually doing, because you're not even... If somebody dislikes something in life, keep it to yourself, I don't give a fuck. If somebody dislikes something in life and they just don't like it, I can accept that more than when somebody specifically says, oh, we really support this thing, and then proves that you don't, because you are making a mockery of that thing at that point. That's my main issue. And then obviously the game journalist aspect and treating this as if it's like, all these people are so bad and we did nothing, our friends did nothing. It's fucking boring. So it's no coincidence that the campaign against Sweet Baby Ink is taking place during a contentious election year. Oh, fuck off. Oh. So mate, everything in the world, it just has to be about American politics, doesn't it? Everything. If I have like a irregular bowel movement, I need to fucking say, oh, it's about Trump and Biden, man. It's about, those red versus blues. It's about the political landscape in America. It's so pathetic. These people need to fucking leave the country at some point and go somewhere else and just understand not everything on the planet revolves around American politics, because it's fucking sad. Large-scale harassment campaigns like this fuel and are fueled by political events. Read a statement from the mental health nonprofit Take This, whose research director, Rachel Cowart, is an expert on extremism and radicalization in video games. Oh, for fuck's sake. As political rhetoric heats up ahead of the US presidential election later this year, this kind of online activity is going to ramp up, and it's important to understand that these phenomena are interrelated. Well, if they weren't, you wouldn't have a fucking job, would you? So it's got to be. It's got to be related. Otherwise, you'd have no fucking job. You wouldn't be speaking to Wired right now. You'd be in the job center. I don't know what you call it in the US. Media Matters reports the platforms like YouTube and 4chan have already become rallying points for what users hope to turn into this second Gamergate, asking if their fellows are, quote, ready for the second Great War. Where's your fucking source for that quote, Where are you getting that one from, brother? It's funny, people will literally, even if this exists, it's almost certainly satire. It's almost certainly somebody being hyperbolic. Here we go, here's Elon Musk. Elon Musk, owner of X and one of the richest men in the world, has retweeted a post claiming Gamergate 2 is underway, while Libs of TikTok, a far-right account that regularly targets LGBTQ plus people, inspiring vicious harassment of individuals and bomb threats against schools and hospitals, is currently targeting a former Sweet Baby developer who has since gone on to another studio for speaking about creating a safe environment for a team of colour. Obviously, if you're harassing anyone, you're wrong, always. Like, I don't give a fuck what the thing is. If somebody's committed a crime, report them to the police, don't harass them. If you're going after somebody for anything, I'm never going to agree with you, because two wrongs don't make a right. An eye for an eye makes the world blind. Whatever adage you want to use, it's not correct. And I don't understand why it's a problem to say Gamergate 2 is underway, when it literally is. It's just the label people use for this aspect of the culture war. Gamergate 1 was a thing that happened, and then it spawned this divide. And that's what people are referring to as Gamergate 2.0. Like, I don't understand why that's like a gotcha. Like, they're referring to the thing as the thing colloquially is known as. Fucking got 'em. Amidst all this, Sweet Baby, a 16-person outfit in an industry of tens of thousands, has become a lightning rod for a new, rapidly growing campaign against the spectre of forced diversification. I mean, I don't agree with the idea of forced diversification, because I don't know where the force is coming from in terms of, who's making it. Is Sweet Baby making these decisions? No, obviously not. Do we know when they write something that it's forced? I can't say that, because I don't know what the plan was for the characters in the first place. Obviously, my idea is, and where most people fall on this, I personally still wouldn't care, because I just don't. If the game's good, I'm going to play the game. If the movie's good, I'm going to watch the movie. If the book's good, I'm going to read the book. But let's say you had Winston Churchill. You made a game with Winston Churchill in it, and then you made Winston Churchill a black woman. Obviously, people are going to complain about that, because you're changing history. And obviously, that's a crazy, just wild out there example, because that's what people do. It's called hyperbole. If you take a character that already exists in something that people have grown up and enjoyed, and then you change some element of that character, people are more likely to be upset. Again, do I care? No, I couldn't give a fuck. When Magic the Gathering made Aragorn a black man, I honestly couldn't care less, but I understand why people wouldn't like it. Do I think that they don't like it because they're racist? No. Do I think some of them don't like it because they're racist? Probably, because racists exist. But do I think most people feel that way? No, they just don't like it when you change things that already existed and that they like, and they think that doesn't make sense because this character was written as a white character, he's described as a white character, he's been in all the movies as a white character, and then you make him a black man. Obviously, people are going to be like, that doesn't make a ton of sense, which is fine as an opinion. Who fucking cares? But obviously the issue is when you label those people as racist without listening to why they have a problem in the first place, just stupid. I just don't know why you'd want to live in a world where everywhere you turn, everyone's against you and is a bad person. Because that seems like a really shit way to live. That seems like a really shitty world you've built around yourself in your little bubble of social media. That every single person is hateful, racist, Nazi. Like, that sounds laborious, man, to even live life, wake up and take a shower, you know, drink your coffee in the morning, worried about, like, all these terrible people. That sounds like a fucking shit existence, but, you know, whatever pays the bills, I guess. Because there's grifters on both sides, because obviously there's people that, you know, everything's a problem whenever there's a black character in anything, whenever there's a pride flag in anything, whenever there's a gay person anywhere. Like, there's always going to be people like that. But if you treat everybody as if they're all the same extreme person, you know what's going to happen eventually? They fucking will be. Because people don't like to be, and this is the core issue, the crux of the matter. People don't like to be told they are this thing and cancelled or whatever it's going to be, made to feel as if they're just equal to these people when they've done nothing wrong, because then that makes them just join the group. And if they join the group, it's very real that they are more likely to have more extreme opinions eventually, because you hang around people long enough, you're probably going to adapt some of their stuff. It's just a thing that happens. If you keep pushing people that are in the center to the right, of course there's going to be more people there, you know, and I don't even say that disparagingly, because if you are right-leaning politically, I don't care. I obviously care when you're like a conspiracy nut, or if you like really don't like, you know, groups of people for no fucking reason. But I don't think most people are there on that issue. I know I've said that like 50 times, but it's just fucking true. So Bel Air co-founded Sweet Baby Inc. in 2018. It's a studio that companies reach out to for things like sensitivity readings or as essentially a writer's room for hire. They make suggestions, offer input, but they are not, as their directors would have you believe, adding or removing characters or storylines in a void. Control of the projects Sweet Baby works on ultimately remains with the companies that pay for its services. I don't even think that this is a contentious point. I think that the narrative of like Sweet Baby comes in and ruins games is like, that shit's like fairy tale land, because it's not how business works. Consultant companies don't come in and just, they have to be told what to do. Their work has to be okayed. They're not just coming in and being like, you know, barge open the door, like, you right there, white man writing that character, you stop, we're writing somebody else now. Like, that's not the real world. So yeah, obviously this is true. I still have a director over me, or a writer, somebody else who's going to be able to make that decision, she said. Very few people have any kind of veto power, and certainly that does not rest in the hands of hired hands. Yeah, not wrong. Although early efforts began on sites like notorious harassment hub Kiwi Farms last year. Here we go. Much of the misinformation about Sweet Baby has coalesced around Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, a Steam curation group that bills itself as a tracker for games involved with the company. You'll see this, and it's amazing that all of these articles, I've read 2 of them so far, one being the big Kotaku one, and one, aside from this one, I can't remember what site it was on, PC something or whatever. They all mention Kiwi Farms, because what they're trying to do is poison the well. What they want is their readers to be like, I know what Kiwi Farms is. Isn't that website that has loads of people that, you know, harass people and dox people and blah, blah, blah. So they're like them, are they? That's what they're doing. That's why it's there. That's why they bring it up. It's why it's early on in the article, even though this video's 30 minutes long already. Moving on, I'm just reminding myself my throat's going to start hurting soon. Already is. The group founded January 29th also includes a Discord server that has acted as a fulcrum for hateful comments, transphobia, homophobia, racism, and sexism. I've not been in there, so I can't speak on this. There's no evidence posted here, so there's no point in me saying yes or no, because not seen it, not been shown it. Following a Kotaku report about Sweet Baby Inc. detected, members of the chat have relentlessly harassed the reporter of the story online. Are you going to mention that she posted and said you can't be racist against white people? Are you going to mention that? I'm guessing you're not going to be, because that's where most of the harassment came from. Again, no evidence of harassment here. According to one Sweet Baby writer, there was a significant uptick in harassment aimed at the company after the Steam group's creation, including sending harassing texts and DMs. Probably. Yeah, I'm not going to say no, because I get harassing texts and DMs, and I just give my opinion on video games. So if people are like vehemently, diametrically opposed to your position, Yeah, there probably is going to be some people, but obviously lazy narrative to say it's, the person's fault for making the group when they're not directing anybody to do anything. If that's the case, you are now responsible if anyone that reads your article goes and harasses any of those people, because you have to hold yourself accountable to your own standards, and that's the standard you're setting by way of essentially saying this group exists and therefore, they are the ones that have curated this audience that's doing this thing. We agree to withhold the writer's name for their safety. They're treating this like a holy war. They say it is taking on a cult-like vibe. In an interview on YouTube, the man who claims he started Sweet Baby Inc. Detected says his interest in the company began with God of War Ragnarok, a game he admits to have never having played, where he, quote, noticed things were different and wondered, why is this game like this? Yeah, it does kind of sound silly. It does sound kind of silly when you say, oh, I noticed things off about this game, but you've not played it. And also, God of War Ragnarok has really good reviews and people really like the game. Yeah, I don't know, because I've not played the game either, but I don't really... Obviously, the game's good, so the game hasn't been ruined by anything, right? It's not been ruined by inclusivity or whatever else. It seems like it's just a good game, and some people don't like it, which is everything in life. Navigating Sweet Baby's website, he recounts looking over projects they worked on, like the massively successful Spider-Man 2, another game he says he's never played, and noticing a pattern, Sweet Baby Inc. detected creator, who says he's based in Brazil, never explains exactly what that pattern is, instead using buzzwords like woke products and virtue signaling, and noting that several of these games had an extremely diverse cast. Yeah, again, I mean, I didn't watch the interview with him. I think I skimmed through part of it. I don't agree with this narrative of extreme diversity being something that's being forced on anybody, because if you live in almost any large city in the West, in fact, any large city almost anywhere, go outside and you're going to see a very diverse range of people. You're going to see people of every colour. You're going to see people of every earning bracket. You're going to see people on every spectrum of gender and sexuality. Whether you agree with any of those things or how other people live their life is irrelevant, because you can choose not to be friends with them or interact with them, just like you can choose not to buy the game. What is relevant is that those people do exist outside, and therefore them being in a game or a media product shouldn't bother you so much. And again, I do think that that's not the big issue for most people. I don't think it is a lightning rod for some people, because they're just upset about, some people being in the game that they don't like. And maybe there's an aspect of oh, that means there's going to be less of people that represent me in the game, but there's still going to be enough of those to not worry about it, right? I don't think, why people are going to be going out of games anytime soon. I think most of the time when people say that diversity has harmed a product, it's because the product was going to be bad anyway, and the writing was bad and the game was bad. It's fuck all to do with diversity. I think that's a lazy narrative. Later in the interview, he complains that our games, our entertainment, the stuff we love, are utilized for this kind of stuff, political agendas. Maybe some people do see it as that. Well, I guess obviously some people do. I tend not to look at everything as politics, because it's boring. I just tend to live my life in the way of our games, our entertainment is for everybody. And if there's stuff in a game you don't like, don't buy the game. And obviously I can understand people being upset if that stuff ruins a game genre or a game franchise that they really loved. But I do honestly sincerely think that if you do really believe that having a diverse range of characters in something ruins it, that's probably a really unreasonable opinion. I do think if you feel like stuff changing that was already kind of set is an issue for you, that's understandable in a way. I do also think if there's stuff that doesn't make sense, somebody gave me the example, because I was trying to understand this opinion because I didn't really get it. Somebody was oh, Battlefield 5, in the trailer they had a British woman with the British army fighting on the front lines, and a British guy with a katana. And I was okay, so they've said that they based the game in World War II. There wasn't, as far as I'm aware, women fighting on the front lines of the British army, but there also wasn't people running around with katanas jumping out of windows. So the issue there about this, devaluing the product because they're changing history, is not because of forced diversity, it's because of shit writers, because they've also written in somebody running around with a fucking katana jumping out of windows. You know what I mean? The game would have had an issue regardless of whether there was this thing that you focused on as opposed to the other thing. I did give people this example, and I hope I'm not stupid when I say this, but maybe I am. If you think diversity ruins a product, are you then also saying that there cannot be a good product that has like a main character that's black or gay, right, or Asian or whatever it's going to be? Because if you believe that, your problem is not diversity. Your problem is something you don't like other people. Because I can't marry the two and two together here of like diversity is ruining things unless you believe that they can't be good if they do have diverse casts and characters, which I think is just utter nonsense. I think you can make anything good as long as you're a good writer and these characters make sense and they're done in a respectful, tasteful way that the role was built for them and they have a purpose to be in, not just like shoehorned to be like, yeah, we're super diverse and inclusive. Like, that's obviously an issue. But in most circumstances, if you're going to tell me that was forced in there, it's like I can't come along on that ride because I can't know, so I don't know how you can know. Games like God of War Ragnarok or Alan Wake 2, both of which include black women in prominent roles in promotion, story, or both, do not touch on any political topics in their stories. Ragnarok, a game built around mythical realms, is about preventing the end of the world. Alan Wake is about the titular writer returning from an otherworldly prison and joining Saga Anderson to investigate ritual murders. Quote, there are a lot of games that we have been accused of working on, especially if they include characters of colour or queer characters, that have nothing to do with us, Billa says. I think that makes it very, very obvious what they think the pattern really is. So obviously one thing I didn't mention is that if you tell this story properly and don't be a shit journalist that tells one side completely and none of the other side. There was obviously people finding Sweet Baby Inc. employees saying things like, seeing two rich white straight people kiss makes me disgusted. It makes me physically sick to see those rich white people kissing their straight mouths touching. Like, obviously, when in your brain you're like, these people are forcing diversity, and they're like, no, we're not, we're just including everybody, and then you read that from one of the people working there, you're like, you aren't the people that should be in charge of any diversity if you have a fucking hatred for one group of people. Like, that's not inclusive, mate. That's inclusive of only the people you want to include, which isn't that your problem in the first place, that there's not enough inclusion of the people you want to include? So you can't marry that idea that you're the one that should be in charge of being inclusive, but you literally fucking hate one group of people. And it's a fairly large group of people as well, especially with Western demographics being what they are. I think that's a big issue people have, because as soon as you start looking into it and you're like, these are the people that are doing the diversity, that are including everybody, that are not trying to, erase me from the game. I don't feel that way, but I'm just giving how people would feel. Obviously, it looks fucking bad, right? If you have an entire company where you just see loads of them being like, fuck this specific group of people. We don't like them. Oh, by the way, we're very inclusive, we are. Belair speculates that one of the reasons the company is facing ridicule is that Sweet Baby harasses can't fathom that the people behind their favourite games would actually want her company's input. They have to assume that no, without Sweet Baby's intervention, that would be a white character. Says Belair, pointing to characters like Saga, because surely my heroes agree with me. Alan Wake 2 game director Kyle Rowley has directly refuted claims that Saga without Sweet Baby's intervention would have been white. It's absolutely not true. I don't know, and I don't fucking care, frankly. That's totally irrelevant to me. I honestly think if you're getting upset that there's like real people that exist in games that are being represented, I just can't come along on that ride. Again, I could labour the point, but we'll continue. There are marginalised devs who work on these games and they want to put that stuff in their games. Fair. Bella says, adding that it's strange that players feel like characters of colour, for example, need to have their presence justified in any way. I mean, yeah, not unfair to say that. I think you are obviously always going to face backlash for something that's not as common, but obviously you will until you don't, because it's more common and all you can really do is keep going. But for all the reasons I've already explained is why people have an issue, mostly, and not just people on the far side of the issue. I'm a huge Uncharted fan, Bella says. Why is Nathan Drake white? Is not a thing we have to justify, he just is. Yeah, fair. Online, other devs at studios Sweet Baby Inc. works with have come to the company's defense. In a thread on X, a writer from Insomniac Games confirmed that as consultant, Sweet Baby offers ideas, feedback and writing. But none of that gets into the game unless the core dev team agrees with it. This is fucking just common sense. This is water is wet shit. The writer, who has since locked their account, posted, Sweet Baby is not nor is any consulting group coming in to wreck games. They're helping smooth our plots and deepen characters. They ease the burden on the core narrative team. The thread's top response, get out of our hobby and take them with you. I mean, there's a very simple solution to this, and I've always said the same thing. I don't like, a lot of the big right-wing content creators that think everything's woke and everything's diverse, just like I don't like a lot of the big left-wing content creators that think everybody's a bigot and a Nazi. So you know what I do? I don't watch either of them, and then if the market agrees with me, they'll go away. So this is the same thing. If you don't like when Insomniac Games, hires Sweet Baby, don't buy the game, and if people agree with you, the game and the studio will go away. And that's basically it, right? And that works for everything. You do it with my YouTube channel if you disagree with my take here, which I think is a very adult take. This idea that you need to create a force field around something you enjoy and have everybody believe the same thing as you and have no dissenting opinions, have no different viewpoints on things, is a very sad way to live, because you should want to have other people's opinions. You should want to know how other people feel on things. Not harassingly so. If somebody comes to my YouTube channel and says, Kira, you're an absolute sucker of dicks, I'm probably going to be like, well, probably not that person, because that's kind of funny. But if somebody's like, I think you're the worst person ever, and says something really mean to me, I might just say, okay, fuck you then, and ban you. And it is what it is. If somebody says like, oh, I agree with you on this, and I, think this is my opinion on this, cool. Yeah, if you write it out thoughtfully, if it's not completely fucking stupid, then sure. But this idea that people who feel this way just aren't allowed to create games anymore, obviously if the market agreed with you, they couldn't, and they won't in the future. So it's kind of it's an easy solve. Harassment campaign against Sweet Baby comes as the games industry undergoes a period of immense contraction. There's a reason for this, and it's fuck all to do with Trump or Biden or American politics, luckily. As it always is, never fuck all to do with that. Some 8,000 gaming industry employees have reportedly already lost their job in 2024. Nearly one-third of developers were impacted by layoffs last year, and there's a growing movement within the industry for workers to unionize to protect the jobs that remain. The collective loss of talent the games industry is undergoing will inevitably have an impact on the quality of video games to come. Yes. And why did this happen? Because of COVID. All the games companies were like, just like in tech and other areas that were not even negatively affected by lockdowns, but positively affected because revenues were soaring and booming because everyone was staying home and they had stimulus check money to spend randomly. Obviously, a lot of these companies were like, oh my God, we've got so much money this year, record profits, let's hire a bunch of people. And then everyone went back to work and started leaving the house again and had less money because of inflation and a cost of living crisis. And they stopped spending money. And then companies start losing money, not even losing money, but not earning the record profits they had before. And as we know, you got to chase those profits. So what do? You cut the newest people at the studio and some of the older people as well, because they're the ones that command the highest salary. Maybe even leave some of the newer people on to replace the older ones and pay them less money. This is just what's happened. It is what it is. If that impacts the quality of video games to come, who's to blame? The people who hired all those people and didn't understand that they were essentially operating in a probably once in a lifetime situation where they shouldn't be going crazy hiring a bunch of people, because it's going to go away. That's their problem. They are the ones that probably didn't lose their jobs. They're completely to blame for all the people losing their jobs. Yet on the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Discord, where users often decry what they see as a decline in video game quality, there's little care for the tumultuous year for the industry that the industry has had. I feel nothing for these developers who lost their jobs, wrote one user. I mean, I can understand, obviously empathy costs nothing, but I don't personally feel anything for the developers who lost their jobs, because realistically, I don't know these people. It sucks that they did. I wouldn't want people to lose their jobs, but it's not your job to police an entire industry. But the way that this is framed here, where there's little care for the tumultuous year the industry has had, that's not their problem. They're consumers. They buy products. It's not their job to worry about who's employed and the situation surrounding fucking billion-dollar companies and these huge studios owned by massive publishers, which in almost all cases are the people seeing the layoffs, because they're the ones with these big execs that have got small fucking brains that thought it was a good idea to hire thousands of people for a fucking 2-year period that was going to go away. How is it the consumer's fault to feel a care for something that's completely out of their control? For Sweet Baby co-founder David Bedard, that dissonance is jarring. They love games, but hate the people who make them, he says. They won't get games if there's no more people making them. There will be people. Because while ever the industry makes money, which it does, every year it grows, maybe a little bit less than it did in like 2020, 2021, there will be people making games because there's money to be made. And if a AAA company goes away, people will play a AA company, and then the AA company will turn into a AAA company because of the extra revenue, and they'll replace you. This is how the market works. It's very simple. Single A indie devs like CD Projekt Red making good games over a long enough time span will turn into a AAA company, as they did. And then their games will suffer because they're less focused on the creatives making decisions for the consumer that enjoys that product and more focused on making money for the shareholders or private equity. And then over a long enough period of time, they either produce games that enough people enjoy, or they go away and they're replaced by somebody else. This is the ebbs and flows of the industry. This is the ebbs and flows of market. That's how things work. The idea that there won't be games getting made is silly. Do I agree that, games are getting worse? In a way, but you know what I do instead? Just don't play most AAA games. I play mostly indie games, AA games, and then support the studios that make games I enjoy, like From Software, like a lot of JRPGs, things like that. Larian, games that are from companies that have earned my trust and produce products that I enjoy. I support those games. And then the other ones, I don't play them. Maybe the standouts every year, like the Games of the Year contenders, I'll give them a shot. But most of the time, I think AAA games are not very good, so I spend my time and money elsewhere. Do I hate the people that make those? No, I just don't play them. Do some people? Absolutely. You could log online and talk about your love of DICE or something, and somebody's going to hate you. So, what's the relevance? This is true outside Sweet Baby's ranks too. Last year, a poll conducted by the organizer of the Game Developer Conference found that more than 75% of game devs surveyed believe harassment from players is a very serious problem. I agree. I do agree. A lot of companies just simply stop interacting with their community because their community is AIDS. This is just true. We've seen it every time, because the more you try to, especially for like competitive games or anything, this is true with content creation. The loudest people are the ones that are going to stick with you, the really negative people. And you're just under constant assault sometimes by very loud voices of people that are going to be unhappy almost no matter what you do, because they want what they want. They don't want the game that you're making as the creator, as the visionary behind the product. They want what they want, and if they don't get it, they're pissed. So a lot of companies just don't interact with their community, and I'd say that's fine. Like, I honestly think that there is a lot of fucking harassment from game players, but that comes from you being accessible. Because obviously, if you have in your Twitter bio or whatever that you work at a game, the fucking loonies are going to show up. And this is, again, true for anything. If you do anything public facing, it sucks. In an ideal world, would I want that to be the case? No. If you've done nothing wrong, you should be left alone. I think even if you've done something wrong, obviously people harassing you, that reflects poorly on them, even if you're a bad person. But that's just how the world works. It sucks, but it is what it is. All this amounts to Sweet Baby becoming a scapegoat for anything players hate in games, especially as it relates to diversity and inclusion. True, yeah, they are a scapegoat. That basically is it. Before Bedard says they had nobody to point a finger at, they did. It was the wokies. Not to be confused with the brokies by Andrew Tate, the hit record. What they're telling us is we are the reason all these games are flopping. I've seen people say that too. My voice is going. We need to wrap this one up. I've seen people say that too. That's dumb. People are saying like the... can you even say Suicide... whatever. The Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game was bad because of this company and inclusion. That was bad because the game was shit. Like, it was going to be shit. If these people never touched the game, it was always going to be shit. A lot of AAA games you'll come to find are shit. Or they are mediocre, they're middling, they're subpar, they're fucking below average. However, Sweet Baby Ink Detective tries to paint the company it's rallying against. Belair says that two have more in common than they think. I don't want tokenization either. She says, I don't want forced diversity either. Part of Sweet Baby's job is to make characters more authentic and dynamic within their worlds. Strong characters, she says, in a sense of how well they are written and realized. This could be true. This could be true. But when people are finding clips of you and tweets of your employees saying other things, that's an issue. And just like people can't prove that you know, woked everything, fuck that term, you can't prove that you aren't doing it either and that you don't want forced diversity. It's just one of those things where this is such a fucking lacking in nuance subject in most cases, where people are just taking sides, fucking the line in the sand's been drawn and everyone's screaming at each other. It's just shit. And obviously I'm opening myself up to a bunch of nonsense because I'm making this video, because some people aren't going to listen to me. Some people are going to vehemently disagree with me on both sides, because being in the middle on any topic is just shit. You're way better off just joining one side and just milking it for all it's worth. Just join a side and just make money. Just grift the fuck out of everybody. Because having nuance on any topic or trying to like see things from both sides is a waste of time. It really is. It's the sad reality. So frankly, Belair says there are positive and interesting conversations to be had, but they can't start from this place. She continues, you can't convince the conspiracy theorists. I don't think everyone's a conspiracy theorist. You can't convince people who are hateful. True. Don't think most people are hateful. You can't change those minds necessarily. True. But yeah, I don't agree with the premise that everyone is. But at the very least, we can give other people a place to speak about what they believe, speak about their values, and to rise above it. Was that what you were doing, though, when you were trying to get this guy's fucking Steam account banned for just no reason because he made a list? Like, is that where we're at? Like, deplatform this man, just delete his account that he spent loads of money on because he made a list, and this list was video games, not people? Like, I don't know, man. It sounds like you don't want a conversation if that's the sort of tactics you can resort to. Sweet Baby's founders say that as far as the company's business is concerned, the harassment campaign so far has been unsuccessful in interrupting their work. Their clients are supportive, says Belair, because many game studios are familiar with online abuse. Sweet Baby has been hesitant to directly address which characters or storylines it has worked on, because Belair worries that could lead to harassment of other developers on those projects. Quote, you shouldn't be sending this kind of hate to anybody. True. If you don't like something, that's just fine. True. Deal with it. Also true. Don't buy another game if you don't want to, but you don't need to launch a whole campaign about it. I can understand people wanting to launch a campaign, which seems like that's kind of the way it's going now with this whole, again, it's us versus them mentality. But the media is also launching a campaign. So we're a lot of AAA devs and studios. Everyone's turned this. You don't, you know the saying, it takes two to tango? It fucking does. You can't tango on your own. You can't, grab someone and tango. That's not fair. You're not allowed to do that anymore. If these people were doing this and you didn't have all these journalists and shit writing stories where they don't present any of what you've done or said or any of the issues people actually are worried about or care about, then obviously it's gonna be a campaign because you're campaigning. Like, man, it's just so disingenuous. And obviously I know that there's harassment, just like I know there'll be harassment on the other side. And I know that there's going to be racist people and bigoted people that are on that side, that don't like when there's, any of these other people, diverse ranges of people, whatever, in games. They exist. They've always existed. The unfortunate reality is the game journalists are just utterly dislikable. They're detestable. They're deplorable in many cases. And obviously, when you also somebody in charge of diversity in games and you're posting that you don't like these people that are, in your words, campaigning against you, obviously you just make everything worse. If you just employed people that weren't doing that, and you didn't say certain things at game conferences, and if you didn't try to get people cancelled and their Twitter accounts banned and harassed and their Steam accounts banned, I think this would be way less of a deal, because this has always existed. People have always been like, oh man, fucking that new film's got a gay person in it, fucking hate that. Like, people have always been like that. And they're always going to be. You're never going to eliminate homophobia or racism or sexism or any of that shit. There's always going to be somebody that feels that way. I feel like it's from a place of ignorance. I don't think people are inherently born to hate somebody. I think it's a circumstance that's made them that way. I think it's a lack of exposure to diversity in people in the world. A lot of the times it's how they were raised by people that are deficient in some way and have their own demons. I don't think you're removing that, and you're certainly not by treating everyone as if they have any kind of dissenting opinion about anything that you do, they're all that. You're just going to make it worse forever. Ad infinitum. End of story. But there we go. That's the video. Hopefully you fucking didn't have an aneurysm while watching it. I'm going to go and sleep now. It's 2:20 in the morning. I'm not even going to upload this today. If you enjoyed watching, buy some stuff from the GamerSupps website. GamerSupps. GG for all. And you can get a discount with my code. Link in the video description. I get a kickback. You get money off. Watch Magic the Gathering videos. Link in video description. See you next time. Peace.